President Trump's tariffs against products from Mexico and Canada and increasing tariffs on China will impact Arizona. Mexico is our state's largest trading partner, followed by Canada. Joining us now via Zoom is Danny Korp, Principal Senior Economist at Elliott D. Pollock and Company. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Hey, so what was your first reaction when you heard this?
About the same reaction that I had about a month ago when they were announced, is a lot of head scratching and some headaches. It's causing quite a lot of turmoil.
Some of the countries reacted pretty quickly by announcing their own tariffs. What do you see happening in the next few days, in the few weeks? Is this going to sort of go back and forth, or do you think people will cool off a little bit? And I have no idea what to even ask you because I'm not sure what will happen.
Well, it's my hope that it's short-lived, but that was expected. These are the ripple effects that occur when tariffs are imposed. There's retaliation, which is now occurring. We're expecting Mexico to retaliate. President Trump has already indicated that there's reciprocal tariffs anytime someone retaliates. So there's a promise that our tariffs increase as a result of a reaction. So it doesn't look promising at this point, and we're reaching a level, both the level of tariffs and the kind of the basket of goods that we're now affecting, which is effectively 45% of all of our imports are from those three countries. And when you add 10 to 25% tariffs, we know that prices are going to go up.
What sort of impact do you think that will have on consumers and our overall economy?
Well, again, because it's so widespread with those three countries and also a threat of imposing tariffs on the European Union, it's basically affecting most products that we tend to buy as an American consumer. The automobile industry looks to be going to be hit hard, like was mentioned before, produce, fruits and vegetables, other grocery items. And these retaliations also affect our American businesses. Those that are trying to export their goods are going to have a harder time doing so. So it has, really widespread effects, both, in terms of economic growth and consumer spending and inflation.
Trump has said that open trade has cost Americans millions of jobs and tariffs will lead to prosperity. Some economists say that's completely wrong. It's inefficient, not the way to go. Who's right?
Well, the economists, of course. Those that say that tariffs could be a good thing, they're pointing to ideas like bringing manufacturing back to the United States, increasing jobs locally, giving local producers the upper hand, increasing jobs that way. And some of those things could occur. But we're losing out on the fact that there are other countries that have these specializations. They've already got the infrastructure in place. There are places with lower cost of living, lower wages that can leverage that in terms of lower cost of goods. And so, it would take a very long time to bring a lot of those jobs back. And in the meantime, we will be suffering from the inflationary effects of higher prices. So they're also losers in other industries as well. So the higher price of goods, it goes into inputs, the producers. It's just going to raise costs, and it impacts other industries. So we could have some job gains in some industries and job losses in others.
Can you talk a little bit about the impact here in Arizona? Because Mexico and Canada, they're responsible for tens of billions in imports and exports every year for our state. What will happen to us here?
Yeah, so we're going to be experiencing really big supply chain disruptions. There are going to be decisions made whether to accept the higher price, to try to absorb some of it, pass the rest on to consumers, or seeking alternatives, either domestically or in other countries that aren't experiencing these tariffs. So again, it's Arizona is a function of the United States economy, and we're going to be as affected just as much as any other place.
Investor Warren Buffett has said a tariff is, quote, an act of war. Is that extreme, or can tariffs really lead to war?
Well, if you see the kind of reaction that's coming out of the countries that are impacted, there's some very, very stern language coming out of those countries and Canada. Basically, they feel like we're trying to implode their economy, and that's not too far from declaring this an act of war. We're certainly straining our relationships with allies and with trade partners, and the long-term effects are still unknown.
Danny Court, thank you so much for making time to talk about this. Really important and difficult to understand for a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.